Where do I put my... All right, that was my Talladega Nights. All right, Dan, nice to meet you, sir. So you've just finished up a couple of days of seminars with us. Tell us what you thought about the seminars.
I was blown away. As a massage therapist, we obviously get pretty stuck in the whole muscle dysfunction, and it was just a really good way. We started talking about fascia and joint movement. It just really helped open the mind a little bit, just to think outside the box and not to get too stuck. You know, maybe gather a little bit more evidence first before we start coming to conclusions about what it might be. So we kind of shoot ourselves in the foot often, I think, when you kind of jump the gun.
Yeah, nice. And that was a big thing that you came across that I really liked. Is, again, we never make a differential diagnosis on any one finding. We're looking for multiple findings, and that was a big thing for you. One of the interesting things, though, is you made some interesting statements and had some really amazing treatment results here today. You want to just tell our viewers what actually happened for you?
Yeah, so what happened was, I guess starting in January, on New Year's Day, I was in the gym and ended up bulging my L5-S1 disc, and go to the chiropractor, diagnosed me with an anatomical short leg. So I've been wearing a heel lift in there, but I guess for the last 12 years it's been dealing with a lot of the stiffness in my hip and into the low back, SIJ. And I guess what was happening is I was always leaning over, but it got so tight to the point where I wasn't even able to properly move the hip and the low back. There was almost no lateral movement when I go to the right side.
Yep, and let's just make sure that we're clear on that. Like, for the last 12 years you've been dealing with this.
That's right, yeah. So I've seen multiple disciplinaries, good therapists who've done really good work, but just a different style. So anytime I go for chiropractic work, what was happening is that they'd get me into this position that felt really good, and then I'd get that high velocity thrust. And I often found when I stood up, there was almost no adjustment that really sounded or felt like it happened. And when I got up, I just didn't really feel any different. And so today what happened is when we took, we were just practicing back and forth, and the individual that I was partnered up with started applying these techniques, and I just started to feel different. I was getting into that position, but instead of smashing down 100 pounds of pressure, what was happening was we were slowly starting to mobilize the joints. And so we ended up taking the lunch break and came back, and we started doing a few more mobilizations, and I just really started noticing, like, before lunch and especially after lunch, how things were really opening to the point now where I'm able to completely side bend to the right, and I feel like every single facet is opening now. And that's huge. So number one, he's an educated patient, so he understands his anatomy, but for him to articulate that, pun intended, articulate, okay, all right, for him to articulate that, though, he's actually feeling that tissue loosen up after 12 years. Now, the one thing that was interesting was it wasn't me who did it, it was another person in the class who did it for you, right? Yeah, and she was not overly large or strong or anything like that. She just took her time and gradually worked through the tissue. That's right. And I mean, it was hilarious for the class because you got up and you did a little dance and everything like this, how you could actually move. Those are the kind of outcomes we want to see in the programs that we teach, and with you and your own therapist, in your own practice as well, right? So you've got skills that you can apply right away into practice, and you can see the benefit of that. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to add about the seminar? I'm very grateful that obviously that you offered the seminar, and I'm glad that I signed up immediately. Very sincerely, this was a phenomenal course. A lot of this knowledge is going to be applied, and I look forward to taking it to another level. Cool. This is definitely going to make a huge difference for my own personal issues that I got in the low back still, just for continuing rehab, but also stuff I can immediately integrate into my clinic starting Monday.
Nice. So. And that's the goal that we want here. We want to teach you guys things that you can actually use in practice and offer benefit for yourself, for your patients, and just making a difference in everything that you do.